Hi, this is David Humphries again with the 6th video in a series of videos on how to use and operate the auction lot analyzer, which is one of the tools that students of the Property Auction Expert Masterclass receive. And this is all about maximum bids and how they're calculated and how sensitive they are to various variables. Just to realign the screen to look at all the information that I need to look at for this purpose. I've got the auction guide price, and obviously I've put this rental in, which wasn't the case with regard to Beckett Street, but we've put it in for demonstration purposes. We've then got all the costs coming through, and here we have the maximum bids, and this covers 4 different strategies. The first is the maximum bid based on the variables we've put in for a flip sell strategy looking for a 15% profit margin. The second strategy is a no money left in strategy, or NMLI, based on a 75% loan to value and doesn't allow for any rental margin. So we have a maximum bid that you can go to if you want to achieve no money left in based on a £95,000 value. The third strategy is where you're wanting to achieve a yield based on a pre-let property. Now at the moment this is set to include £25,000 on fix-up, and I'll come back to that in a second. But for the moment the auction rent maximum bid is based on a 10% gross yield and a £96 per week rental, assuming the property is being sold already let. And then the fourth strategy is where you let the property at a market rent. In this case the market rent is £475 per calendar month, and you're still looking for a 10% gross yield. Now in both cases we've got the auction rent value here and the market rent value, which is £7,000 higher because the rental's higher, the market rent's higher than the auction rent, but they drop down for bid purposes because of this £25,000 fix-up cost. If we reduce the fix-up cost to, let's say, £5,000, that will add £20,000 to each of these bids. Let me show you. So it goes up to £42,000 and £48,000. So now we've got the bids more in line. In fact, unfortunately, the flip sell bid and the NMLI bids go up as well because we're not spending any money on the property. So let's reverse that and go back to £25,000. In reality, we should be looking at 2 different properties because, as you can see, you can't really combine a flip sell NMLI strategy based on £25,000 of fix-up with a property that is already let and looking for a rental yield on the property as it stands at the moment. In each case, the green arrow indicates that your bid, the maximum bid, is above the auction guide price. If I increase this guide price to, let's say, £30,000, then both the auction rent bids will go red and with arrows going down. There we go, which is a quick visible indicator that the maximum bid that you're working on is below the guide price. Likewise, if I reduce the fix-up cost for the flip sell or NMLI strategies, I can increase the bid. So if we take this down to £20,000 fix up, we will go 53 and 44 will increase to 58 and 49. So you can play with the numbers and see which are sensitive and which result in either increases or decrease. One sensitive area, for example, is the yield value. If I take that yield down by 1% to 9%, my 27.9 and 34 will jump quite considerably. Let's look at the 34,000. This is £35,000 at 10%. Drop the yield value down to 9%, and it goes up to 41,000, a £6,000 increase in your maximum bid. without changing any other numbers. So with these three sections open, you can quickly see and test the sensitivity of any of these costs in determining your maximum bid. You may be able to reduce your fix-up costs, you may be able to reduce your buy costs, you may be able to increase the value. Maybe you can take that value up to 97,000, 98,000. You may be able to increase your rents. You may be able to get vacant possession on the existing tenant and then increase the rent. You may be able to reduce your profit margin from 15 down to 10%. You may even be able to increase your LTV up to 80%, which will impact on the no money left in strategy. So as I said, this is the business end of the auction lot analyzer, and automatically calculates the maximum bids that you can make dependent on your strategy based on the numbers that you've introduced into the analyzer. And as you play with these variables, you will see which are more sensitive than others and which impact by 500 £1,000 on your maximum bid price. And remember that 500 to £1,000 on a maximum bid of sub £100,000 is 0.5 to 1% and can make a huge difference as to whether you are successful or not in bidding and buying. That brings me to the end of this video. The next video is about how you analyze and how you look at the results of the auction and what the various relationships between hammer and guide price and reserve price mean.